Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about Apple, Star Wars, and the balance of power. Okay, so I'm coming to you once again from my father's house in Maine, out here visiting. Now, I know the videos might not be so interesting this week. I hope they are. I'm trying to keep them a little bit more interesting. And first of all, let me apologize about the way I looked this morning. I woke up before everybody else. It's actually a beautiful morning. It's nice and quiet. You know, find a nice secluded spot, right? But I haven't, combed my hair yet. Had a shower. My teeth. Haven't brushed my teeth. So, be glad you're not here because I'm really, really nasty. Right, but hey, check this out. First of all, I found this. This is my old army jacket, right? From 25 years ago, and I can't believe it still fits. Of all the stuff, this is the only thing that still fits. But anyway, it's kind of cool. I'm not out in the countryside, so I'm not worried about being shot like I was the other day by hunters. Right. So today I want to talk. I want to talk a little bit today about more about the Apple 4.3 things. I'm sorry if you're not an Apple developer and you're getting tired of hearing of it. Getting tired of hearing me complain about it and everything like that, but it's just one of these things that is such a big impact. And I'm getting so many emails and comments and everything about it. Other people really affected by it, and it's really, really bad. But so last night, because of the internet, I don't have a lot of access to internet. Right, I'm constantly asking people to turn on their hotspots so I can use them. I'm like my kids are when we go places. That's me now. So I was like looking through these newspapers from last week, sitting around, and I found this Wall Street Journal, and it's got this interesting article here, which I think kind of applies not to Apple, but just sort of this kind of thing in general, to the balance of power in general. It's all about. It's called Disney's Force Awakens against local movie theaters, right? And it's all about the new Star Wars movie that's coming out in December. So basically, Disney and the movie producers are coming out with rules that are more onerous than they ever have been before. They're changing the balance of the equation. So normally movie theaters would charge, or the movie studios would charge theaters 55% of ticket prices. So 55%. But for the new Star Wars one, for The Last Jedi, they're making certain stipulations. First of all, they're taking 65% of the take. They're taking they make sure that every theater, big or small, if they have more than one cinema, the Last Jedi has to be in the biggest one for a minimum of 4 weeks. And the other thing is, if they don't comply with those, then the studio takes 70% of the take, right? So there's this big outcry from local cinemas. Like, the big guys can handle it. The big guys are fine. But it's the small cinemas that are crying foul because, first of all, they can't not show the Star Wars movie, right? And they have to, but they kind of don't have a lot of power in this relationship, right? And I went to this one of the nights here. We went to this, and we went and saw Thor. It was like my second time seeing the new Thor Ragnarok. So we went to the local cinema in the town of Shadogi, I think it's called. It's as a Native American name, and I keep forgetting how it's pronounced, but that's not important. But it was like a nice little cinema, and it was like, there are 3 screens, right? And they change movies a lot because it's a small town. They don't have that many things. So one of the people in the article said, from the owner of one of these smaller cinemas in a small town, says, after a week, everyone in the town has seen it, and we can't live by these rules, but they kind of have to, because you can't not show the Star Wars movie because it's going to be a huge earner, right? The reason this reminds me of the 4.3 thing is because it's a change in the balance of power so our relationship as app developers with Apple should be symbiotic, right? It should be like we provide them with content, they put things up, they provide the platform, like Google does, and it's a balance of power. They take their 30%, they get all that kind of stuff, which is high, right, and all this kind of stuff. But every so often, the bigger body, the entity with more power starts to exert the power more often. So we're seeing that with Apple exerting more power over us. They're making it more difficult to put these apps out. And when I read this article, and I know it's because this is the frame of mind that I'm in. It's just sort of this thing where I'm always thinking about, you know, the app market and how it affects me. But I guess, you know, every small player has these kind of issues, right? Where, you know, the balance of power, if they don't have the upper hand, or if they don't have a way to fight back, then, you know, things are difficult. Like, I mean, I wish I could say that with the Apple thing, that I had an app big enough that if I pulled it from Apple, then, you know, say, hey, I don't like this, I'm going to pull my app, then Apple would capitulate. They would say, okay, well, we'll change our rules. But I don't have an app like that. I don't have any power in that relationship. The only power that we do have as developers is that we have another option. We have Android. So many people I've been speaking to, I mean, you guys have all been telling me, you know, I'm going to focus on Android now, and I'm kind of thinking, going along the same way. But it's a lot like the Star Wars thing. It's like, especially if you're working with clients, you know, you can't ignore Apple, you can't ignore iPhone. But you know what? The way they're acting now, I sure hope that one day you can. Anyway, I know this is short today. I hope you guys aren't bored this week. I hope you have a really great day today. That's it for today. I'll try to talk to you tomorrow.